Hey everyone, it's Fabian back at Empire Build Academy, and today we're going to look at an event called Arctic Barbarians. I'm sure many of you out there know what this event is if you've been playing Evony for a while, but I just wanted to do a video on what it is and how we can best play this event. So it's this one here, and let's go inside and have a look. And then if we click on the info button, during the event time, the Arctic Barbarians Castle will refresh on the world map. And with the Arctic Barbarians, there are a lot of these across on the map, and I've actually got a few of them saved for the purpose of this video. So let's go and have a look at some of these on my bookmarks. So you see there, I've got all the level 5s there. It really does depend on your power as to how high you can hit. And unfortunately, the best way to do that is by literally testing it out and seeing where your power and your march is to be able to do that. So let's click on this one first. I'm going to work my way down them. There's quite a few difference in powers. So let's click on this one here, and you can see that its total power is up here, 468 million. And this is important as well. You do need to, I've seen a few people go into the Arctic Barbarians expecting to get points, and actually they don't. And the reason for that is because of that 61.7 million there. You must be sending a march with a power of at least 61.7 million before you are able to go in there. And then of course you also have the highest power as well, and that is to get the maximum points from that barbarian. You need to be sending 185 million power march to that to be able to get. So that's a 468. Let's have a look at what else we've got in here as well. So this one is 1 billion. So you can see straight away this is a lot more powerful, and also the power requirements to be able to join these are also significantly higher as well. And you can also see the troop attack and HP and defense also increase as well with this. You can see with this one here, you can see again, power requirement is different, and you can also see the troop HP, defense and attack are also different as well. Let's hit the one that I know I can first. So this one here, you can see is 940%. So there is a chance I can get injured on these, but let's just go straight over to the one that I know I can attack, which is this one. And this has that requirement of 773 is the percentage attack, and the power of this particular Arctic Barbarian gives me more chance to hit that. So let's actually hit this one and see what we need to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attack. Incidentally, if you do declare war, I'm just going to show that again. If you do actually set it as a war and send it, you will actually get additional buffs as well. So you'll get the rally buffs there. So I do see a lot of people actually sending their marches to this for the ones that perhaps they don't get, and they will send it as a march and just send it quick with the 1000 gems to be able to do that. And that is obviously something you can do, but I'm pretty sure on this one I can attack it without having to do that. So as you can see as well, all the way down, we've got all the different layers in place. Now, I've heard a few different things, and one of the things that I actually have heard is for the higher ones, you only need 10, I believe, in there to be sending. So you only need 10 in here, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. The key here is trying to make sure you get minimal wounded as possible. And what we are going to do is we're going to send layers of all of 100. I do believe as well people are testing it now, and there's some people saying now you only have to send 25, you only have to send 50. But the 100 works for me. And also on top of that, the difference in how much it costs to heal with the very minimal troops really doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, I just want to show as well, we've got this here, and obviously you need to set up your march preset to be able to do this. But let me just go back to that actually, because I just want to jump into let's make march preset together on this video. So when we go over to the rally spot, into march preset, and mine's on number 2, what you need to do is set up your layers. So we literally click on this button here until we've got the one that says layers, which is full tiers, this one here. Now, if you actually hold down, because maybe you haven't got this set up, rather than pressing 10 on each individual box going all the way down, you can actually, let's go back to that again, put it on full tiers. Now, if you hold that button down, this one here, if you hold that button down, then you will be able to actually select what you need in there via this method here. So it's just a quick way of adding all the different layers in without having to manually type them all in as you go along. So if I went into this and I changed this to 200 and then I clicked on full tiers, you can see everything changes to 200 without having to manually do that every time. But for this particular one, I don't need that. I need 100. So let's go back onto full tiers and then hold that button down, click into there, and then change that to 100. So that is now done. Let's go and click on that, and let's click on save. And then of course the march that we're sending is T13 Archer. That seems to be the answer that people are getting. Obviously, if you're not T13 Archer or you haven't unlocked them yet, then you will need to do a bit of testing to find out what it is. I'd go with the next lowest one that you have. So if you have T12, send your full march to T12 with all the layers, and if you're T11. But obviously you won't be hitting the bigger Arctic Barbarians level 5s. You might be doing level 4s, so on and so forth. That's just something you would need to test depending on what level you're at and where you're at. So let's hit that one that we already know that I can do, which is this one, which was the 669. And then all we're going to do now is I'm going to go into attack. Okay, so we're going to hit this one here. Now, I don't have a full march of T13, which is the standard expected to send. I actually have a full march of T12. So that's what I'll be sending to this. And the reason I have a full march of T12 and not T13 or 14 is because I'm trying to keep my power low to be more of a trap than someone who attacks. So let's click on attack in here. You can see I've got all the 100 layers already set up from what we just did. Then I've just got to go to my T12s, which are the Ross shooters, and then add that all the way in there. So you can see now I have 2.5 million march. So you can see there that I have 169 million in terms of the power. It's worth keeping an eye on that if you are trying to do testing and you're trying to see exactly where you are. So on this one here, they're saying you can send 10 of each of the top tiers. You don't need to actually send 100, and you can do that all the way down to your T13 march. So I will also do that on this one, and let's continue all the way down. It's been really useful. People are responding in the comments, just giving their views and their opinions, because other people can read them views and opinions, especially if you've got some really detailed, good information. That is really going to help people to be able to do that. So I've now got everything there. I've got everything set up. Let's send this march straight at it, and let's see what we've got. And the last thing that we need to do to check is just make sure that your monarch settings are on your ranged, which I haven't done. So I'm just going to go and do that now. There's my range there, and then I'm going to click equip. So now I'm there with the ranged as well. And now I can send my level 2 march right at this with all my T12 shooters, which you can see there. So let's send this and see, and then we'll speed that up, and then let's have a look at what we got. I'm hearing some people are reducing the injured down to just 50. So you can see that I've killed that now. So let's go and have a look, and we can go into here, and you can see that my injured was 170. So that's what that injured is. And if we actually went and had a look at the battle detail, you can see all the different ones. There was 5 of everything at the top, and then all the way down we've got 1s and 5s, and the 5s tend to be from the mounted on this particular one. So then we go all the way down, and you can see all the different injured we got in that one. Now, this is the big test for me, because I'm just going to send that and actually put a march in there so I'm earning the points. Because it's only 269 million, I don't need to send a full march. I just need to send one that is going to occupy that, which is what I've done. And then, of course, the other thing, which is something you may be doing as well, is sharing this in your alliance so that other people can also occupy this as well. And that's the good thing with this event. You might not be powerful enough to kill it, but there might be someone in your alliance that is able to do that. So let's come back. My march is returning, and this is going to be the interesting one, because I've got 2 more that I'm doing, and I always get quite a bit of injured on these 2. So we're going to do one after the other, see exactly where we're at. I'm assuming with the 1 billion that I'm not powerful enough, but who knows? Let's try. Okay, so they're coming back, and we want the first one, which I believe was this one. It is the 468, so it's 940% buff for all the different things in here. And let's send that number 2 march. So again, there's all the 100 layers. There's my 2.4 million Ross shooters, T12, and let's see what we get on this one. This is going to be interesting. Normally, I get quite a lot of injured on this one, and I probably still will. And the reason being is probably because I do need the T13 and not the T12, which is fair enough. As I said, other people can hit this and I can occupy it with my power, and that's fine. So if I genuinely can't do this, I'd just actually start sharing this to the Alliance and allowing them to do it. So we've killed it. That's a good start. But how many injured? 199. Okay. So again, and that's what I was talking about as well. Just want to look at that. The power, 5.5k, really is absolutely zero in terms of healing. So it's not something that I'm going to be too fussed about at this moment. But like I say, it's about trying to get it down to as minimal injured as possible. So now we can occupy this one, and I will send my ground march at this. 185 million was the power, so I will just send just over that. And again, I will share into the alliance chat to say this one is also open. But the real big key is this one, because I've never even actually defeated the next one. So I'm expecting a lot of big injured on this one. So let's go to it straight away. It's this one here, and you can see straight away what we're talking about here. There's a lot of troops. There's a lot of buffs, over 1100 for each one. And this is the reason why I don't do very well on this. It's as simple as that. I let other people hit it, and I am normally someone who joins it after they've done it. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at how bad the damage would be on this. And like I say, again, I would be assuming that you would need the T13 march to be able to destroy this. That would be my belief. Do mention in the comments if I haven't got that right, but I'm believing the reason that I'm not going to destroy this is quite simply I'm just not powerful enough, not strong enough, haven't got enough buffs. I'm slowly getting there because obviously I did the other one with hardly any injured, so that was good. But let's have a look at how bad this one looks. So this time I'm actually going to do it as a rally attack. We'll click on 5 minutes. We've got all the different ones there. Actually, one thing I'm going to do on this one, let me just make sure that I've got all these buffs on. Okay, so I've got the march size increase there. So that is all on as well. Okay, so declare war, 5 minutes. We are sending 2.6 million at this. Power is 168 million. Click on march, click on send, and off we go. And let's have a look at how bad this is going to be. I'm assuming this is going to hurt quite a lot, so I'm already prepared for the healing, and it's all in the name of science. So let's do that and see how bad this genuinely looks. And as you can see, I lost. What a surprise. And you can see I got 119,000 wounded. Now, the reason I like to do this in this way and show you the defeats is because now people will be shouting into the comments, this is why you didn't do it. You needed to send this. You didn't add this. People will notice things that I've not done right. And then we get all those answers in the comments. And then we all can do the right thing. So looking at that, what was my problem? As you can see, that's what was my buffs in terms of the archers. So I had 1,900. Do let me know in the comments the reason why I didn't succeed with that particular battle. But for the others, as I said, it's just a case of let's go back into the layers again. And that's where you've got to do. That's where you've got to do the testing and finding out exactly where you are in terms of being able to do this. But again, there's my march. There's obviously all the different troops as well. Okay, so let's go back into checking this march out as a last thing for the video. So like I say, click on a march preset where you're going to save this to. I've got mine set up on number 2. I have all my different layers all set up there. There I've got the Ross shooters, the T12 to the full maximum that I can. But like I say, is the reason that I'm not defeating the 1 billion one quite simply down to power? Or is it T13 march? Or is it because the march size isn't big enough? Let me know in the comments what you believe the reason to be for that. The other thing that I wanted to mention as well is if you are setting up your presets, then clicking on this button here until you've got the troop full tiers one up. So now I have it saying full tiers. And then if I then long press on this icon here, I can then set up the layers to whatever it is that I'm looking for. So that is the answer to that. That is how we play Arctic Barbarians. That is how we reduce it down to the minimal that is possible. And I've got a feeling that there'll be quite a few people commenting on this, just talking about what are the best ways to do it themselves, what the tests have come back for how they've done that. And that's exactly what I want in this particular video. So I'm going to leave it there. Going to obviously now go and do my editing and cut out all the rubbish. And I will see you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.